Good evening. Welcome to the award-winning Crayons to Computers Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? 6th edition, and our first online, presented by Mariner Wealth Advisors and Prestige AV and Creative Services. Once again, Movers and Makers Magazine's Reader's Choice Awards named this event as the favorite fundraiser in the education category, as well as the most creative fundraiser and runner-up in the most fun fundraiser category. My name is Nick Francis. I've served on the board of Crayons to Computers since 2014, and I'm currently serving my first year as the board chair. Here's how tonight will work. We know many of you are excited to play our virtual version of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? We have fifth graders joining us from their homes, and you all will have the opportunity to participate as well. In order to do so, you'll want to get set up in our game platform to the right of this window. In addition to the game, we'll hear from our keynote speaker, Melody Smith, and raise our hands virtually to raise some money to support the good work of teachers and their students in need in this region. To set the stage, as we're all getting excited about playing the game, let's talk with Crayons CEO, Amy Cheney, for a mission moment and revisit why we're here this week. Crayons to Computers' mission is to level the playing field in the classroom by ensuring that students in need have the tools to succeed in school. Our normal operation, which is product such as pencils, crayons, glue, paper, backpacks, etc., distributed to qualifying teachers across 16 counties through the store and our mobile outreach program, all changed in mid-March. So Amy, what has Crayons been able to do?
The Crayons team is committed to doing as much as we can for as long as we can. In mid-March, we quickly pivoted, as so many organizations have had to do, and began to distribute product directly to the schools. Some schools shared items when families came to pick up food. Some sent it out with school bus drivers or teachers as they delivered food. Some made product available when families picked up schoolwork or computers for their students' use at home. Since then, Crayons has distributed $320,000 worth of 72 products and materials to 53 schools, including a number of Cincinnati public schools. The schools' locations range from Crittenden and Dry Ridge in Kentucky to Middletown, Lockland, Lebanon, and Aberdeen in Brown County, Ohio.
That's just great. Kudos to you and the staff for finding creative ways to continue the mission during this strange time. And what are you hearing about the teacher experience in these challenging times?
Well, I think that teachers and students would rather be in person. Teachers like to be with the kids, and kids miss their friends and their teachers. Here's what we've heard from some of our shoppers. Shane Morgan from New Miami Elementary School says, "It has definitely been challenging trying to communicate through technology with kindergartners. I have used thank you cards and stickers, coupons, and small tokens from Crayons to Computers as prizes to mail out to my students. The students really enjoyed getting handwritten letters in the actual mail, as one student called it." Nora Johnson from Cincinnati College Preparatory Academy shared, "Learning how to teach from a distance has been very challenging, especially since the change happened so quickly. The biggest challenge has been working with those students who don't have technology, as well as the challenge of student engagement overall." Jenna Lehman of North College Hill Middle School said, "Crayons has helped us be able to understand new concepts through manipulatives and exploration. It helped me level the playing field in my class. If a student comes to me without supplies, I can provide those without going broke myself. With remote learning, this uneven field becomes even more clear and very heartbreaking." And Judith Lamb, who teaches at 4 Grant County elementary schools, told us, "I miss my kiddos. Crayons to Computers gave me the opportunity to do live Zoom drawings with my students by use of a new rolling dry erase board. I was able to use the laptop camera perched on tubs pointed toward the board. It was so good to see all the smiling faces and their beautiful drawings. I even had siblings not in the class take part in my lesson."
Well, let's hope the situation improves such that teachers and students can be together again in the fall. Whatever happens, Crayons to Computers will clearly continue to pursue its mission. This might mean more creative ideas about how to do business. And tonight's event is one example. In past years, we've held a live show in our warehouse, but the staff have pivoted in very short time to create this virtual event. We are excited to have you join us as we try to raise some money to continue leveling the playing field. And we intend to have some fun too. Thanks for being here. Before we proceed, I want to give a big thank you to our first superintendent-level sponsor, Mariner Wealth Advisors. Let's take a look at a message from Tony Roberts, Managing Director and Senior Wealth Advisor at Mariner, and a longtime friend and fan of crayons. We wouldn't be here today without this sponsorship. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Tony Roberts, Managing Director and Senior Wealth Advisor at Mariner Wealth Advisors. Mariner is an independent wealth management firm in Cincinnati. We work with a number of individuals and families and also have the pleasure of working with a number of non-for-profits in the Cincinnati area. We've been longtime supporters of Crayons to Computers and very proud sponsors of the Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader event again this year. While the format will be a bit different this time, we're no less proud to support this event because we so identify with the mission of Crayons to Computers, that every child should have all the tools that they need to be successful within the classroom. It's a pretty awesome feeling to think that just giving a pencil can really change a child's trajectory in life. Thank you.
Again, thank you to Mariner. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, are you smarter than a fifth grader? You can't see your competition this year, but there are people logging in to participate and battle against each other, and especially against our team of all-star fifth grade students. Here's how it's going to work. You are playing as individuals. If you haven't yet, check out the window to the right of this one, then go ahead and register your name and hit the Go button. We'll play 2 rounds and then a final single question round. All questions are timed and points increase by round. You'll have 30 seconds to answer each question. Points are awarded for correctness and for speed of response. Please do not look up your answers. This is a virtual game, but let's try to play old school. It's harder to enforce that this year, but be on your honor. Remember, you are all competing against our awesome group of all-star students. I'll be hosting the game here, and Catherine Nero will be moderating our fifth graders. As many of you know, Catherine is a media personality with more than 20 years' experience in the tri-state. She is the family-forward reporter for the Cincinnati Enquirer and host of Coffee Break with Catherine, a daily Facebook Live feed where she shares stories and interviews people from around the area. She is an award-winning news anchor and reporter who has worked in television, digital, sports, podcasting, and most recently, social media. Catherine lives in northern Kentucky with her husband and 2 daughters, and even as a transplant, is one of the area's biggest fans. We want to get to the game as quickly as possible, but before we do, we'd like you to know who you will be playing against. Over to you, Catherine.
Nick, thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Catherine Nero, and I'm so excited to be back for my second year for Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? I think we all found out the answer last year. And parents, if you had to deal with at-home school, distance learning, NTI, whatever they called it at your school, you know that probably none of us are smarter than a fifth grader, or in my case, an 8th and a 10th grader. It was not even close. So these guys, you just wait. These are our all-star students that we're going to beat in just a second. But we want to thank you once again for joining us for this very first online edition of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? This is going to be a good one. All right, so we got the best of the best to beat that audience, okay? So let's meet our all-star students. We have Kate and Eva and Reese and Margot, Christian, Becca, and Dylan. I mean, look at these guys. Do they not instill fear? They're confident. They know they're going to win this thing. All right, so let's meet these guys first and foremost. And Kate, I'm going to start with you. Okay, so tell me, what's your favorite part of the day, your favorite class? What is it?
History class.
Why? Why do you like history so much?
I like the stuff we learn in the class.
Oh, good. I'm not going to give anything away, but I'm just going to say that may serve you well during this game. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Do you do anything else outside of school, Kate?
I do tennis.
Okay, excellent, perfect. Okay, so next up we have Eva. Eva, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Tell me where you go to school.
I go to school at Marymount Elementary.
Okay, do you miss school? Do you really miss it? Did you miss learning from home?
Kind of. I like working from home, but I really like going to school too.
I understand that completely. What do you miss? What did you miss most about school during these last couple of months?
I really miss seeing my teachers and like actually getting to go to a class.
I gotcha. Well, hopefully in the fall we'll all be back. What's your favorite class?
ELA. I like ELA.
What is that?
ELA, English Language Arts.
Oh, yes, of course. Perfect. Me too. I just had to remember what it stood for. That's all. See, I'm already not as smart as a fifth grader. All right, let's go to Reese. Reese, where do you go to school?
Loveland Intermediate School.
Okay, and so tell me what your favorite part of the school day is.
Science class where we get to watch like movies and stuff.
I always liked watching movies too. Do you like the experiments in science or just the movies?
I like everything in science.
Good. Is that your best subject? Are you a straight A student?
I guess, yes.
Yeah, say yes. Say it with confidence and I'll believe you. I don't have your report card. I believe you. All right, what are you looking most forward to when you get back to school?
The schedule.
I agree. I totally agree, Reese. I look forward to that schedule too. All right, Margot, you are up next. Margot, tell us where you go to school.
EH Green Intermediate School.
Excellent. So tell me, do you love school or are you like this? Like, it's all right.
I like it sort of, I mean.
Lunch and recess is good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's your favorite class, Margot?
Social studies.
Okay, excellent. So tell me, when all of us were having to learn at home, what did you miss most about school?
Well, I like to see my teachers and friends at school.
Are you ready to go back?
Yeah.
Maybe not right now, maybe a couple of months, maybe get a summer out of this. Okay, all right, Margot, we look forward to playing with you in just a second. All right, Christian, how are you today?
Good.
Good. Tell me where you go to school.
I go to Loveland Intermediate.
Excellent. That seems to be a popular place. Tell me, Christian, did you miss school lunches?
No. I didn't
What's that?
I don't eat lunch. When I
don't eat lunch. I'm impressed. I'm impressed by that. Tell me, though, what do you do at school? What's your favorite part of the school day?
Playing football at recess.
Okay. Or what else do you do outside of school?
Play video games.
Excellent. That's a good thing to do these days, isn't it? All right. Well, good. So what do you think your strongest subject is going to be?
Math.
Okay. I like your confidence there, Christian. I like it. We're going to see if that's the case here coming up in just a second. All right, Becca, it's your turn. How are you and where do you go to school?
I'm pretty good. I go to school at Loveland Intermediate.
I'm telling you, Loveland Intermediate is just racking up these all-star students, aren't they? All right, Becca, tell me what's your favorite part of the school day?
So I think my favorite part of the school day is hanging out with all my friends at recess because we're not all in the same class.
That's a really great point. Do you have a favorite class? I mean, of all of them, which one is your very, very favorite one?
I don't really have a favorite class.
You're good at all of them? Is that what you're telling me? She giggles, but you know it's true. You know it's true. All right. What are you looking most forward to when you get back to school in the fall?
I'm looking forward to actually interacting with people.
I understand. It's not the same doing it on a computer, is it?
No.
But you guys are used to this Zoom stuff, I'll tell you. Hey, let's meet Dylan now. Dylan, where do you go to school?
Marymount Elementary.
Excellent. So tell me, what's the best part of the school day for you? What's your favorite subject?
Math.
Math. Okay, you answered that one really quickly. Anything else you enjoy about school besides the actual lessons?
I like hanging out with my friends at recess and lunch.
Yeah, is that the part you miss most during all of this distance learning?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your plans for the summer? What do you want to do before you head back to school in the fall?
Probably just gonna read a lot.
That's a good answer. All right. We got some good students here and their interests, as you can tell, there's every subject represented here. We have social studies, we have history, we have math, we have science, we have it all. Language arts right here. So I'll tell you what, these guys are going to be a formidable opponent for this audience coming up in just a little bit. All right. Well, we got to get this game started though, right? So let's kick it back to Nick to get it going.
Thanks, Catherine, and hello, fifth graders. Christian, I have to tell you that playing football at recess was one of my favorite parts of school, but it was a different kind of football. Okay, we're going to start with a practice round to let everyone warm up. If you're on a smartphone, you'll see a keypad below this live stream. If you're on a computer, you'll see a keypad to the right of the live stream. That keypad is where you'll enter your answers. But you have to join the game by entering your name first. After I ask the question, you'll use your device to indicate your answer. Here we go with our practice question. Since closing the store in mid-March, how many boxes of crayons has Crayons to Computers distributed? Is it A, 9,116, B, 6,025, C, 3,487, or D, 0? Remember, you have 30 seconds to answer the question through your device. Go ahead, submit your answer now. Let's see what our fifth graders are thinking.
0.
You think 0?
0. 0 because no one can like come in and get them.
Coronavirus.
What about shipping?
They deliver them.
Yeah, what
Who's
about
that shipping?
shipping? What about Amazon Prime?
Christian, I think you're onto something here.
I think it's 9,116.
Okay, all right. What do the rest of you guys think?
3,000.
3,000?
9,116.
Okay, all right. So I think we got a vote. What do you guys think? All right, who thinks it's A, 9,116? Okay. Who thinks it's B, 6,025? Okay, C, 3,487. All right, and D, 0.
Time's up. Let's go ahead and see what the kids have answered. Okay, they went with A, 9,116. And what did the audience answer? Well, 9,116 was popular, but also answer B, 6,025. The correct answer is A, 9,116 boxes of crayons were distributed since the middle of March. That's a great job by the crayon staff. Okay, round 1 will include 4 questions, and each will be worth 100 points. Remember, the points are based on correct responses as well as speed of response. The points awarded decline as the time runs out. Player rankings will be shown at the start of round 2 and also at the end of the game. The first category is geography. Please note that spelling matters. Are you ready? What is the capital of South Carolina? Please type in your response now. And while you're doing that, let's spy on our 5th graders.
Talk it out amongst yourselves. All right, Kate?
Charleston?
Okay. Anybody else have any guesses?
No. I didn't know states or capitals or whatever.
Eva, did you have something? Did you have a thought?
I like Columbia.
Columbia says Eva. All right. We have Charleston and Columbia. Any other guesses? No? Anybody been to South Carolina before?
No.
I don't guess we can technically go right now, but maybe eventually. Eventually we'll be there. Nobody's been? Okay, so do we want to maybe vote on our 2 guesses? You want to try that?
Sure.
Okay, the first was Charleston. Who wants to say yes, the capital of South Carolina is Charleston? Who votes for that one? Kate obviously votes for her own answer, of course. Okay, we got 3 for that. Who thinks it's Columbia, like Eva said? Oh, we got 4. It's just barely, guys, but it looks like Columbia won out. What do you think? Should we go with Columbia?
Time is up. Answers are in. Let's check to see what our 5th graders responded. Okay, they went with Columbia. And how about the audience? So Columbia was popular, 49%. Charleston got 31%. And the correct answer is Columbia. How did you guys do? The subject of our next question is science. Here we go. What color are objects that reflect no visible light? Is it A, red, B, white, C, black, or D, clear? Your time starts now. Please submit your answer while we'll check in on the 5th graders.
I think I think that it absorbs all light because when you're wearing like a black shirt or a black hair, when you touch your hair, you feel all the heat because it's absorbing it into your hair.
Okay. All right. So if the question is what color are objects that reflect no visible light, shall we put this to a vote?
Clear. Clear. But
All right, the first answer is red. Does anybody think it's red?
Of course not.
Okay. What about white? Who thinks it's B, white? Kate says white. Anybody else? Okay, who thinks it's C, black? We have Christian, we have Becca, we have Dylan, we have Eva. Okay. Who thinks it's D, clear? And we have Reese and Margot say it's clear. Now the votes tell us that we should lean toward black. What do you guys think? Should we go with the majority?
No.
All right, let's check our students' answers. The fifth graders went with C, black. And what did our audience think? Also very popular, C, black, got 80% of the votes. The correct answer is C, black. Well done. The subject of our next question is language arts. What 19th century British author wrote the novel Oliver Twist? Once again, spelling matters as you enter your response now. I wonder if the fifth graders will notice one. Let's see how they're doing.
Oh, that's so supposed to know.
Anybody have an idea?
How am I supposed to know that? We're fifth grade.
Charles Dickens.
Okay, Dylan says Charles Dickens. Anybody else have an idea?
I agree with Dylan. I think it's Charles Dickens.
Okay, Eva and Dylan, they're forming a little block there. They say it's Dickens. Anybody else?
I have no idea of authors. I don't really care about authors. This isn't mine.
Christian, what do you think?
I have no clue.
Okay, Margot, do you have an idea?
No.
No, that's okay. All right, so right now we've got Dickens. Kate, any other ideas?
No.
Becca, what about you?
Not sure.
Okay, so we got one choice. What do we think? You guys think you should go with Dickens?
Yeah. I guess.
Okay.
I don't know the answer.
Your time is up. What did our fifth graders say? Okay, they went with Charles Dickens. And how did the audience respond? Oh, Charles Dickens, 89%. The correct answer is yes, Charles Dickens. Well done. The subject of our next question is math. How are you guys feeling about a math question? Here we go. How many factors does the number 121 have? Is it A, 2, B, 3, C, 4, or D, 5? Is this taking you back to math class? Let's see what the fifth graders are thinking.
2 and 11.
What's that again?
1, 11, 11, then it would be 3. Yeah,
So
3.
tell me your thinking there. Keep going, Reese.
So 121 only has 1 times 121 and 11 times 11. So that means it has 3. But that means it has 4 because each number is a factor. Oh my gosh. Christian, it's 3.
But if the number's the same, I think what he's saying is since 11 is the same as, since it's 11 times 11, it would be just one number.
Exactly.
What do you guys think? You think
Square
there's...
root of 121 is 11.
Okay. All right, so Reese says it's 3. Christian says 2. Margot says 5. What do we think? 3? Christian's not
3.
changed.
Yeah, 3.
You want to vote? You guys want to vote?
I had 3. I say 3.
It says 3. Okay, everybody says 3. You guys want to go with 3?
Time has run out. What did our fifth graders think? They went with B, 3. And how about the audience? Okay, we've got a range of answers. Some went for 2, most went for 3, but some went for 4 also. The correct answer is B, 3. The factors are 1, 11, and 121. Do you guys remember how that works now? Okay, the game's getting harder. Who is or isn't smarter than a fifth grader? That bell marks the end of round one. We're going to take a break now for a message from our second superintendent level sponsor, Prestige AV and Creative Services. They've been a part of every one of Crayon's Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader events and were integral to this year's shift to an online version. Thank you, Prestige. You guys have been great. Our keynote speaker, Melody Smith, was born into a cycle of poverty, at least 6 generations deep, and spent large portions of her childhood experiencing homelessness. During that time, her family of 4 lived on today's equivalent of $11,000 per year. In order to assist her family and procure clothes, school supplies, and food, Melody has been working in one way or another since the age of 8. Fortunately, she became convinced at an early age that education would be her gateway out of poverty. Even though she was homeless all 4 years of high school, she graduated with honors and was accepted into every college she applied to. She has also obtained an MBA from Xavier University, and she is now Director of Digital Technology for Anthem. She and her partner, Drew, live in Sims Township with their 19-month-old daughter. Please welcome Melody Smith.
Thank you, Nick. I'm going to take you back to a night that I vividly remember from the 5th grade. It was late, it was well past my bedtime, and I definitely should have been asleep. What was I doing instead? Out of straws, tape, a box, rocks and weeds I found from outside, and an endless supply of pure shenanigans, I was creating a biosphere that could house the lost colony of Roanoke. At the time, I was learning about both the suspiciously doomed late 1500s expedition whilst also learning about Spaceship Earth being constructed in Arizona at the time. My mind decided to imagine that I was an industrious young settler in Roanoke with a mind for science that was literally centuries ahead of my time. My fantasies were interrupted by a "shut up and go to bed" from the other side of the room. I looked up from the imaginary world I had created in Roanoke to see the real world all around me. At that time, I was living in a cramped welfare motel in a slum known as Little Tijuana. Without a kitchen, there was little opportunity to prepare food, and without money, there was little opportunity to get it. We also didn't have a school busing system, so each morning I trekked down an actual multi-mile walk by myself to get to school. I made that trek every day because school was my safest place. So while I'll never truly know the tortures of being a young girl in Roanoke, my real life provided me with plenty of fodder to not only try to imagine her escape, but in the process, try to find my own. So now let me give you a look at my current life for a game of compare and contrast. I am a director of digital technology for a Fortune 50 company. My job, which I lovingly refer to as my favorite hobby, allows me to go into work each day, imagine things that don't yet exist, and then create the strategies to build them. I have this job because my educational pursuits cascaded down a winding path that led me to getting my MBA from Xavier University. I just bought my dream home that's more than large enough to house not only all of my creative endeavors, but to build the foundation for all that's in store for me and my family. So how did this little girl from Little Tijuana do it? There's 3 ingredients that transform my life. First, the very foundation, I was given a creative education. I was taught how to create. My education, my greatest treasure, was offered to me and the 43% of children in Cincinnati living in poverty for free. But supplies, the absolute foundation for a creative education, are not free. However, with the supplies available here at Crayons to Computers to teachers like Judith Lamb, they're able to offer creative education In her students' case, they didn't have paint, so they used markers and water to not only give these children beautiful kaleidoscopes of color, but a literal life-changing lesson on creating something out of nothing at a critical time of development. So to this very day, my #1 competitive advantage is the fact that I'm good at building something where nothing existed. Judith Lamb and the network of teachers here in Cincinnati are giving children that gift. I found the second ingredient to my success once I got a bit older. Remember my biosphere in Roanoke? Projects like that allowed me to imagine. The consistent pattern of imagining one project after another, building things bigger and better as I learned from both the successes and my failures, they gave me the courage to imagine myself somewhere else. I was in high school the first time Mrs. Hutchins took me to a college campus, and I found some courage to look out and imagine myself there. She also gave me the supplies I needed to create what became my first journal, and I used it to draw and write, and that allowed me to chart my future. And so when you see pictures of students in Cincinnati making dioramas that house their future dreams, I want you to take a moment and truly comprehend the amount of courage it takes to hope and how teachers are encouraging that hope with supplies. Last but not least, the third critical ingredient was putting in the hard work to get myself there. I can't precisely describe for you the winding journey through the depths of despair that is required to uproot yourself from a life of poverty. I can tell you that I know it every time I see it, and I saw it back in late February when I was a speaker at the Tech Olympics here in Cincinnati, where I got the opportunity to engage with high school students that were interested in technology. I was talking to a couple of teachers from Aiken High School about their programs when a young man approached, and his teacher quickly beamed out with pride, telling me how this young man had just achieved his Microsoft certification. In the pure joy that erupted on this young man's face, I could see the light that is possible through the power of creative education. So people often ask me if I'm living the life I dreamed of as a child. As a child, I had no idea this life existed. But I was given the supplies to create it, the courage to imagine it, and then I put in the hard work to get it done. And at this very moment, somewhere in Cincinnati, there is a child peering up from whatever version of a biosphere in Roanoke that their imagination conjured. By investing in a child's ability to create, you're setting the stage they need to build an absolutely unimaginable world, where a world full of nothing may exist now. Thank you. Nick, back to you.
Thank you, Melody. You have an incredible story. Next, we're going to ask you to raise your virtual hand to fund the mission. In this segment of the evening, you'll hear what different dollar amounts could do for teachers and students in our region. Simply click on the Fund the Mission button in the top right of your screen. If you haven't logged in yet, you'll need to click the Start Bidding button in the upper right-hand corner and log in. Then select an amount to donate, and please know that your money will make good things happen. And then watch as our thermometer rises in a non-COVID good way. Please welcome our auctioneer, Mike Whittington, and his assistant, daughter, and Crayons board member, Erin Weiscup.
Thank you, Nick, and thank you, Prestige, for figuring out how to make this happen. And so I'm going to do a shout out to the Rosian team. I wonder how that table is doing wherever you are competing with our fifth graders this year. But Dad and I are super excited to do this auction yet again this year. We're doing it from the Toy Room live in Loveland, Ohio. Those fifth graders you see from Loveland, they're sequestered somewhere else. We are following proper protocols so we can all stay safe and healthy. But to that end, this is not going to stop us from putting it out there and how you can support Crayons to Computers. So for those of you who've never attended one of our events, welcome. We welcome new friends every single day, and a pencil can make such a huge difference. And so that's what we're going to ask you tonight to think about. What kind of dollar amount can you put towards the incredible work that Crayons to Computer does every day? And we had to have microphones. They did come from the toy box just to kind of keep us going as we always do every year. So to start off, you should all know that Crayons to Computers is privately funded. Crayons to Computers as an organization does not receive government funding, and they are not a United Way agency. So it takes all of us to show up, like Melody asked, and support the work that needs to be done to get our kiddos where they need to be. So we are going to start off with $2,500. Could you imagine what $2,500 can get you? As it turns out, it is 8,325 dry erase markers. For those who don't know, dry erase markers are quite possibly the new chalk. And so we're going to start off asking you, what could you do and bring $2,500 to the table? What does that sound like, Ed? 800.
Sounds like 2,500. Sounds like 25 down, 2,500, and 25 down, 2,500 down, 25, 2,500 down, 25. Get those wallets moving. 2,500 down, 25.
You're in your
Push the
pajamas.
button. 2,500 down, 25 down, 25. 2,500 down, 2,500 down, 25, 2,500 down, 25 down, 25.
Didn't even have to get dressed up. No white tablecloths.
2,500, 2,500,
Safe,
25 down,
presumably.
25 down, 2,500, 25 down, 25. Push the button.
Dry erase,
2,500
yellow, favorite
dry
color.
erase.
I'm
2,500
not sure
down,
yellow actually works
2,500.
as a dry erase.
2,500 now, 25 down, 25.
Yeah.
25 now, 2,500.
I am
2,500.
feeling the
25
heat.
down,
There's got to be a
2,500.
thermometer going up.
2,500,
Yeah?
25. 25 now, 2,500.
I bet it's happening.
25 down, 25 now,
$2,500.
25 down, 2,500.
Okay.
Okay.
I bet you there are 10 people out there who just
Thank
showed
you.
up and committed $2,500 that can buy us 8,000 dry erase markers that will be a huge tool in classrooms next year, because that's happening. All right, so next up, if not 2,500, how about 1,000? 6,666 glue sticks. That is a lot of glue. And you know our little preschoolers and kindergartners, this is all they need because it's a hot mess, right? But this is what Melody talked about, being creative. We need these glue sticks. $1,000.
Hey, 1,000. And 1,000 all the way on 1,000. And 1,000 all the way on 1,000. 1,000 all the way on 1,000. And 1,000 all the way on 1,000. 1,000. And 1,000 all the way on 1,000. Take it on about 1,000. And 1,000 all the way on. It could buy this many, but it could buy other things.
It could buy a lot
and
of
1,000 all the way on 1,000. And 1,000 and 1,000 all the way
And
on 1,000.
we're going to need a lot of
And
things.
1,000
We're going to need a lot of Clorox wipes.
And
Yeah.
1,000 push the button. And 1,000 all the way on 1,000.
I'm not seeing the thermometer yet, but I bet it's rising. And we're getting some
And 1,000 all the
cash.
way on 1,000. 1,000 all the way on 1,000.
Remember, crayons is working because of you.
And 1,000 all the way on 1,000. And 1,000 all done.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
done. 1,000.
100
Great.
people showed up with 1,000. I'd take 10. We're just so thrilled that you're joining in and participating. Woo!
Woo.
Okay.
There goes the thermometer.
Okay, we've got a thermometer.
Yeah.
Now, we're on a 10-second delay, something like that. The
20.
super amazing
20.
egg at 20. Okay, it's 20 seconds. It's going to go up. $2,600. Okay, we have a goal. Dad and I
Whoa,
are
there it
not.
goes.
Dad and I are not allowed to leave quarantine until we hit a goal. That's what Amy said. So we better keep going. Okay.
You gotta keep going.
Now look, you can still donate 1,000. Just because we're moving on to 500 doesn't mean you
This
can't.
is live from the toy room.
Yeah.
From the toy room.
So
Wow.
$500.
And 5.
It gets you pocket folders, like a lot of them. Is that right? No, I skipped the paper. Sorry, we're going to paper. Everybody needs paper for 1,000.
And
500.
500. And 500 all the way on 5. And 500 all the way on 5. And 500 all the way on 5. And 500 all the way on 5 and 5. 500 all the way on 5 and 5 and 500 all the way on 5. And 5 pick them mid 500 and 500. I believe I would 500.
Yeah,
and
filler
500 all the
paper.
way on
Yeah.
500.
Yeah.
And 500 all the way on 5 and 5 and 500 all the way on
It's
5.
like
and
it's
5.
a canvas. The kids
3
need it. We're
states.
creative.
We-
Yes.
3 states we could. And Alaska, and 500 all the way on 500, and 500 all the way on 500. There's a
500
few
bucks.
people up there. What's up?
Yes, we
And
need
500
some
all the way
toilet
on
paper.
500, and 500 all the way on 5, and 500 all the way on 5, and
I'm feeling
500
the
all the way on
temperature
5,
go
and 5.
up.
And if I
Yes.
get that thermometer going,
Yeah.
push the button. 500 all the way on 5, 500 all the way on 5, and 5 and 500, and 500 all the way on 5 and 5, and 500 all the way on 5,
Okay.
and 5,
I think
and
we're
5.
good.
All done. 5.
We're gonna move on to, getting this right. Now we're on pocket folders. So if you go in for $250, we can buy over 1,500 pocket folders. And I don't know about you, but those things are well loved and keep a lot of dreams in them. So $250.
250, 200 now, 250 now, 250, $200 bill now, 250, $200 bill now, 200 now, 250, $200 bill, 250, $200 bill, 250. I believe they can afford that.
I think they come in all rainbow.
And $200,
Yes,
50. That's like 5 steaks or something.
Yeah,
$250 bill,
yeah.
250. $200 bill now, 50, 250, $200 bill, 50 from the toy room. $200 bill, 50, 250 live. $200 bill, 50. Are you live? Yeah. $200 bill, 50. $200 bill, 50, 50,
Okay.
$200 bill.
We just need two more to get to 7,000.
$200 bill, 50, 250, 250, 250.
250. All right.
250.
This is the one we all love. Markers. $100 can buy you 100 sets of markers. Lots of markers. $100. And you know, I'm not thrilled for why we're not going out. I'm not thrilled for why we're not getting the babysitters, but we're not spending this $100 right now. You can spend this $100 right now times 5 to support Crayons to Computers. Let's do this.
Let's go. $100 bill. And $100 bill on 100. $100 bill on 100. And $100 bill on 100. $100 bill on 100. And $100 bill on 100. That's 10 tens. And $100 bill on 10.
So you know math. You could do 5th grade math. Yes.
Yeah. My grandson taught me math. And $100 bill on 100. And $100 bill on 100. $100 bill on 100. And $100 bill. Look at that thermometer is going. And $100 bill on 100. And $100 bill on 100. $100 bill on 100. And $100 bill on 100. Get that thing going. Let's go over 8,000. $100 bill on 100. There we go. $100 bill on 100. And $100 bill on 100. And $100 bill on 100. $100 bill on 100. You'd spend that on your dress. And $100 bill on 100. And $100 bill on 100. You spend that drinking a Coke.
Markers every day.
$100 bill on 100. And $100 bill on 100. $100 bill on 100. And $100 bill on 100. And 100. And 100. And 100.
Okay.
100.
Thank you, everyone. We got one more to go. We got this. So this is the one we all know and love. It is still super important. So if you want to get some pencils into these little kiddos' hands, $50 gets us 900 pencils. 900 pencils. $50. We can do this.
900. I go through that many in a day.
Yes.
All right. $50 bill. And 50. $50 bill on 50. $50. $50 bill on 50. And $50 bill on 50. $50. $50 bill on 50. And $50 bill on 50. 50.
900 pencils.
And $50 bill on 50. And 9,000 million pencils. And 50. $50 bill on 50. And $50 bill on 50. 50. You can write with those.
Yes.
And one kid that doesn't have a pencil needs
the pencil.
Saying a $50 bill on 50. And $50 bill on 50. 50. There it goes through the hurricane.
Yes.
And $50 bill on 50. And $50 bill on 50. 50. $50 bill on 50. And $50 bill on 50. 50. 50. And $50 bill on 50. And 50.
You've all got a
Let's
teacher.
go to 9. Let's go to 9.
Or she
And $50
needs some
bill on
pencils
50. And
for the
50.
kiddos who are
And
not
50.
coming with them.
And 50.
Yes.
I spend that on big
Macs.
Big Macs. And $50 bill on 50. And $50 bill on 50. 50. $50 bill on 50. And 50. And 50. And 50. And $50 bill on 50. All done.
All done. Okay.
50.
Woo! All right.
Okay.
Hey, that was pretty good work
That was
for
good.
4 minutes.
For a guy
4
that
minutes.
doesn't know
High
what he's
five,
doing.
high five. In the toy room,
Yeah.
live from the toy
From the toy room. There we go. Kick it up there. Kick
Remember,
it up.
we're on a delay, so we're seeing it
We're
out.
on a 20-second
Okay. All right, so we are not done yet. There are other ways that you can show up and support Crayons to Computers, and that is get online. We all love shopping online at this point in time, so really easy. If, again, the Rosian crew hasn't gotten there yet, we have an auction going on for some bourbon. So I'm going to do my best infomercial description. We have for auction a Van Winkle Special Reserve. This member of the Pappy family is the perfect combination of age and proof. This sweet, full-bodied whiskey has been described by some as nectar. The 12 years of aging and medium proof seem to be just right in creating a very pleasant drink of whiskey. Not sure I've ever heard bourbon described as pleasant, but there you go. We have a package deal, including a Blanton's original and an Old Pogue. Please forgive me, bourbonites, if I mispronounce that. The taste profile of Blanton's is sweet with notes of citrus and oak. The creamy vanilla nose is teased with caramel and butterscotch, all underscored by familiar baking spices such as clove, nutmeg, or cinnamon. Blanton's Original set the standard for single barrel bourbons in 1984. Best served neat or on the rocks. Old Pogue is a small batch bourbon. This is a sensational effort. It's fiery, full-bodied, with a medium amber color, as well as lots of vanilla, smoke, marmalade, spice, and caramelized citrus notes. Very aromatic, rich and heady, but not overly hot. This is a superb bourbon. And so last year, there were a couple of teams that totally killed it, and we raised a lot of money around this favorite beverage, especially right now these days. So get online, check it out. We've got 2 more things you can auction and get in and bid on. You'll find an opportunity to take to the air and have the experience of a lifetime with the Cedar Creek Soaring Club. You and your group will experience glider flight curated by a retired fighter pilot. Pretty safe there. And then lastly, we've got a one-of-a-kind handcrafted wooden train created by yours truly. It's a collector's item, priceless. Bring it home as a unique gift, lovingly built by also a volunteer. The train measures 6 feet, 10 inches long, looks wonderful at the holiday or on a mantle. We might be selling that a little harder than the other stuff.
Kid-friendly.
Kid-friendly. Get online, see the auction tab. The bidding ends and closes 9 p.m. on Friday. Check back. Make sure that you are bidding well against others, especially on the bourbon and the other items. So thank you all very much for supporting us. The staff at Crayons to Computers, we will be continuing to make a great difference, especially as we go into a new, interesting year. Take care.
Thank you, Aaron and Mike. You guys are a riot. I can only imagine what it must have been like growing up in your household. And thanks to all of you for your donations. Let's take a look at the leaders after round 1. Oh, look, first place, our all-star 5th graders. Pretty close behind. I hope I pronounced this correctly, Judd Whalen. And then in 3rd place, Hannah Bernstein. Okay, looks like it's still anyone's game. Before round 2 starts, let's thank our Teachers Lounge sponsors, Forrest Brown Todd and Messer Construction. Thank you guys so much. Round 2 questions. These will be worth 250 points each. The first question of round 2 is about geography. I'm assuming you remember what to do. The question is, which of the Great Lakes lies furthest east? Is it A, Erie, B, Huron, C, Michigan, or D, Ontario? Go. And while you do, we'll check on the 5th graders.
I'm ready.
All right, Reese, what do you think?
I think it's Huron. Or
You
whatever.
think it's Huron is farthest east. Anybody else have an idea? Becca.
I think it's Ontario.
Okay, why do you think it's Ontario?
I have no idea.
It just sounds like it would be farthest east.
Trying to remember the map in my head. So
I think
Lake Michigan is the farthest south. Erie is right above us.
I thought Michigan was.
Eva, what did you say?
I think it's D.
So let's see. Becca and Eva think it's D, Ontario. Reese, you said Huron, right? Anyone else have an idea? Christian, what do you think?
Ontario.
You think it's Ontario? All right. That's 3 for Ontario. Let's vote and let's see here. Who thinks it's Ontario?
Now that there's most votes there.
Oh, look at this.
Time is up. Let's see, what did the 5th graders answer? So they went with Lake Ontario. And how about the audience? Okay, a few went for Huron, most went for Ontario. And the correct answer is Lake Ontario. Okay, let's thank our principal sponsors. CHC Manufacturing Incorporated, Sheila and Flip Cohen, Ensemble Health Partners, Fifth Third Bank, First Financial Bank, Mitsubishi Electric, Nelson Stark, Pioneer Cladding and Glazing Systems Incorporated, Barb and Joe Ross, and WCM Investment Management. Thanks so much to all of you. The subject of the next question is history. Who was the first Chief Justice of the US Supreme Court? Was it A, Alexander Hamilton, B, John Jay, C, Thomas Jefferson, or D, Henry Knox? So what do you think? How about the fifth graders?
John Jefferson.
Christian says Jefferson.
Alexander. John
D.
John Jay.
Dylan says D, Henry Knox.
Alexander Hamilton.
He says Alexander Hamilton. Eva, what'd you say?
I think it might be D.
Would you re-say the answers?
Sure. A is Alexander Hamilton. B is John Jay. C is Thomas Jefferson. And D is Henry Knox.
I want to go B.
You want to go B? That's John Jay. Do we think it's Alexander Hamilton?
No.
No.
Yes.
What about Thomas Jefferson? What did he do that was kind of important?
Declaration of Independence.
What position did he hold at one point? Really important one? Biggest one in the United States?
Oh, president?
So now we've got these two guys, John Jay and Henry Knox. Let's talk about them. Which one do we think it might be out of those two?
Okay, that's time. How did our students answer? They went with B, John Jay, and the audience? Wow, 80% went for John Jay also. The correct answer is B, John Jay. Well done. Next, we'll visit science. What is the only dinosaur lineage to survive the mass extinction event? Is it A, lizards, B, frogs, C, snakes, or D, birds? That's a tough one. How are the fifth graders doing?
D. A. D.
All right, let's check this out. Becca, what do you think?
I think it's birds.
Birds, okay. Who was saying, who else agrees that it's birds? Bree says birds, Dylan says birds, Eva says birds. What somebody else said, Margot says birds. Somebody said, did somebody say lizards?
I did.
Okay, Christian, why do you think it's lizards?
Because lizards are, like alligators isn't one of the answers, but those survived. And alligators are technically just giant lizards.
So who has a strong opinion as to why it's birds? Raise your hand. All right, Reese, tell me why you think it's birds.
Teacher told me.
That is pretty much just fact right there. Should we put this one to a vote, ladies and gentlemen? Should we?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think
Who
that
thinks?
it's obvious. Birds.
What's that?
Birds.
Birds. Okay, let's vote. Who thinks it's A, lizards? Christian thinks it's lizards. Okay. Who thinks it's D, birds?
Okay, as time expires, what did our students pick? They went with D, birds. And how about the audience? Very popular answer, D, birds, got 88%. So you won't be surprised to learn the correct answer is D, birds. Good job, everybody. We're almost there. Now it's time to bring out your A game. The subject is grammar. How many nouns are in the sentence? Jake likes swimming in the wide lake. Is it A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, or D, 4? Let's check in on the fifth graders.
Kate, what do you think?
2 nouns.
2 nouns. What are they? What do you think they are?
Jake and Lake.
Jake and Lake. Okay, Dylan, what do you think?
I think it's 2.
Okay, and Margot, you were nodding also?
Mm-hmm.
You think it's 2?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Christian, what do you think?
I think it's 1.
You think it's 1? What do you think is the 1 noun?
Lake.
Okay. What about Jake? Because Kate said that she thought that was a noun too.
That's a proper noun. That's a pronoun. Proper noun.
Isn't that a noun?
No, it's proper, and then it's a noun. Proper noun, not a noun. Not a noun.
Eva, you love this stuff. You love grammar. What do you
Like
think
an
it is?
adverb.
In a sentence, you can't put 2 verbs together unless it's like supporting, and swimming could be like used as a noun in that sentence.
Shall we vote?
3.
You think there are 3?
I wonder if fifth graders like grammar. Let's see what they picked. They went with C, 3. And the audience? Okay. Most popular was B, 2 nouns, 57%. 3 did get 34%. The correct answer is C, 3. The nouns are Jake, swimming, and lake. Did you guys know that one? How'd you do? Okay, that sound marks the end of round 2. This year's honor roll sponsors include Ellen and Stuart Dunsker, ESI Electrical Contractors, Graydon, Johnson Investment Council, Eileen and Tim Lorenz, and Betsy Zellick. Thank you guys so much. They are making a difference to teachers and students around our region. So we have one final question that will be worth 500 points. The subject for the last question is science. Here it is. Final question. What does an anemometer measure? Spelling matters, remember, and you have 30 seconds. Go. We'll spy on the students one last time.
And if you want me to spell it, I'll spell it for you.
Spell it, please.
A-N-E-M-O-M-E-T-E-R. A-N-E-M-O-M-E-T-E-R. Anemometer.
That sounds more like a ELA question. You have to use the speed, the letters.
Anybody have any ideas?
Wind? I have no idea. I don't even
Christian,
know.
what'd you say?
Wind.
Christian says wind.
Wind.
Anybody have any other ideas? Eva says wind. What do you guys think? Margot, what do you think? Wind? She's nodding her head over there. So what's your final answer?
Wind. Wind.
Wind?
Wind.
Wind.
Okay, let's see how our 5th graders did to wrap up the game. They went with wind speed. And how did the audience do? Okay, they also went with wind speed and some others. The correct answer to our last question is wind speed. Good job. That's the end of the game. Thank you, Catherine, for moderating our 5th graders.
Well, I think we all know the answer now to are we smarter than a 5th grader? For most of us, the answer is no. Look at these all-stars. Let's thank them once again. Thank you, Kate and Eva and Reese and Margot and Christian and Becca and Dylan. Thank you guys so much for educating me and everybody else. Excellent work on Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader? Let's wave bye to everybody.
Yep, thank you, 5th graders. We appreciate it. Before we announce our winner and end our live stream evening, let's hear a few thoughts about what Crayons to Computers might look like as the school year approaches. Amy?
We wanted to share some thoughts about what Crayons to Computers will be doing as the new school year approaches. What I can tell you is this: Crayons to Computers is committed to doing as much as we can for as long as we can and as safely as we can. August might look different for us all. Teachers may be driving through to pick up supplies and shopping by appointment. But know that Crayons, with support and assistance from our donors and volunteers, will be here for our teachers and their students in need. Thank you for joining us tonight. Stay tuned, stay safe, and be healthy.
Thanks, Amy. We have some thank yous as we wrap up the evening. First, thank you to our all-star 5th graders and their parents. Thank you to our sponsors for helping to make this event possible. Thank you to Catherine for serving as our game show moderator, Melody for being our guest speaker, and to Mike and Aaron for their help with the Raise Your Hand portion of our evening. Thanks to all of you for being here virtually. We hope you've had a little fun in the midst of all the discomfort our nation and community are going through right now, resulting from the pandemic and other disturbing events of recent weeks. Thank you for standing with area teachers and their students in need. Thank you to Prestige, AV, and Creative Services for helping us transition to a virtual event. Thank you to all who have so generously given to Crowns to Computers tonight and will throughout this week. You make our work possible, and area teachers and students are grateful. Thank you to the staff of Crowns to Computers for their hard work every day. And to the Are You Smarter committee for their legwork, great ideas and effort to bring this to fruition. The committee includes Tom Boggs, Q Dozier, Genevieve Miller-Holt, Laura Napolitano, Arlene Lorenz, Nick and Kerry Rosian, Lauren Roberts, and Betsy Zellick. Thank you, guys. Please make a note in your calendar. The kickoff for this year's Push for Pencils campaign is at Kenwood Town Centre on August 8th. If you or your company or organization would like to know more about holding a supply drive, please contact Betsy Wilson at Crayons. And now, the winner of the online edition of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader is... Look at that, the all-star fifth grade team. Congratulations.
You're the winners. Congratulations, guys. You all-star students, big winners of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Congratulations. Thank you again for joining us for this online edition of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? We hope you've enjoyed the evening and we appreciate your support. Please continue bidding on the lineup of fantastic auction items and field trip experiences that will be available throughout the week, located on the auction tab. All bidding ends Friday night at 9 p.m. Thank you and good night.